Welcome back to the Hotel Orloff here in scenic rural Retreat, Virginia. It is Saturday, October 7th, 2023. Just did an episode a little bit ago, but a lot of distractions, and I didn't get to finish looking at all of the comic books that have just arrived here at the Hotel Orloff. So we're going to be looking at them now. Let's continue. This is like part two. If you just tuned in, go back to episode 858. You'll see the beginning of this episode. Why did the sound stop on the TV? What's going on? I'm watching Right Side Broadcasting here. Trump's about to talk at 2 o'clock my time in Iowa, but the sound seems to have stopped. Perhaps it's Hillary Clinton sabotaging the Right Side Broadcasting Network. When we last left off, we were looking at this comic. I was telling you at the end of last episode that I'm going to stop using Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and then there's a bunch of ages after the Bronze Age. I just don't know. I can never remember what they're called. There's the Modern Age and I don't know. But basically, once late 80s into the 1990s, I don't care about comic books. For the most part, there were always good ones that came out just as a fluke, like Kingdom Come and things like that. I mean, I can't say everything's been bad, but, the magical era had passed. So instead of using Golden Age and everything, I just don't want to be like other people in the comic book community. So I'm going to say this is Truman Age, or maybe should I was debating whether I should use age or era. I use era. This is a Truman Era comic because it is from. I'll see. I was able to find it very quickly on this episode. Come on. I felt I gotta clean this. This is a magnifying glass. I got it. Gloss. A magnifying glass. I'm sorry, magnifying glass. I haven't had much sleep. It has a little battery in it. It looks like the battery is dying because it's supposed to have these. There we go. Like blinding LED lights will shine. I got a lot of dirt. Anyway, this helps you read something. That it does this number on which it helps you see, it makes it bright and makes it bigger. Anyway, all the cool people in the comic book neighborhood that have these. Comic books started in the Roosevelt era, right? And then I guess 1946. No, 19. So the Roosevelt era would be from the dawn of comic books until the end of World War II. So from 45 to when would that be? 50. Okay, 52. So 40. The end of the war, 45 to 52. We'll call that the Truman Era. So that's the comics after the glory days of the superhero, which was during World War II. So in the 40s, and then the comics started to get more and more kind of naughty with the crime and violence and horror and jungle stuff, and that was into the Eisenhower era begins. It would be 52 to 60. So that's the very end of the pre-code, and then that's the beginning of the Silver Age. And then the very beginning, of the new Marvel with the Fantastic Four and the Spider-Man, that's going to be the Kennedy era and the Hulk and X-Men. And then the LBJ era is basically very end of 63, 64 to 68, and that's when that was the great days of Marvel, with you know that great period. The sweet spot to me was right around 65, 66. That's when Marvel was at its very peak, with Galactus and all that. And then you have the Nixon era from 68 to 70, 74, right? So that's basically the beginning of the Bronze Age. That's the best part of the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age was the best stuff. Nixon was president, 72, 73, 71, 74. That's then the Bronze Age kind of peters out a little bit. Because there's the Ford era. Ford era is kind of the 25-cent Marvel value stamp era, right? And then you've got the Carter years. And that's when everything kind of fell apart. The Carter era is when Marvel started doing all these toy comics based on toys, and it just wasn't as good. And then the Reagan era is the 80s, and that's when a bunch of warlocks from England came over and started writing comics, and they were very anti-Reagan and anti-Margaret Thatcher, and there was great stuff that came out, and some of those warlocks really were great writers, but they were very, they weren't really great as far as keeping our culture together, because we here at the Hotel Orloff, we're very we believe that America used to be great, and we need to make it great again, and that's just how it is. So unsubscribe if you hate that. But this is back when America was great. Now our gang with Tom and Jerry, this is late 40s, so this is going to be Truman Era. And of course, Tom and Jerry was, I need the light on. Tom and Jerry was popular, and these were theatrical cartoons. I mean, when this came out, nobody had television. The very first TVs were just starting to come in, but hold on. The way that you saw Tom and Jerry when this comic came out was in the movie theater before the movie started. And of course, the other famous shorts that would appear before movies when you went to the theater. See, in the old days, you got to see not just the feature film, you got to see a short comedy or a movie serial like Flash Gordon or Superman, and a cartoon before, usually, sometimes two. And this is, of course, MGM, which is behind Our Gang and Tom and Jerry. Now, Our Gang is known to most people today as Little Rascals, because when they put the Our Gang comedies on TV, they changed the name to the Little Rascals. Right? Drew the dog. Hey, Drew the dog, how you doing? Drew the dog, you're right. Drew the dog is bored with my discussion of comic books. Yes, indeed. Oh, we need to salute the flag. Let's see. Let's turn this up. I can't talk during the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I need to shut up. That's Spanky. There's Buckwheat. Darla. Anyway, it's a comic book version of Little Rascals, as you call them. And again, we looked at this comic briefly right before the show ended. April of 1949. Yes, Trump's about to speak in Iowa, and what time is it? About an hour and 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay, so this is another great comic. Great comics from Mesa, Arizona, from the famous store Gotham City Comics, founded in 1872. It's the nation's oldest comic book store. Um, so you need to, if you want to get comic books or monster collectibles, call up Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics. They're the official sponsor of the Hotel Orloff, along with Pfizer and BlackRock. All right, it's Uncle Scrooge. Now, I'm going to look at I'm not looking because it tells me the date. It's a 12-cent comic. I'm going to guess, look at this, it's House of Haunts. It's all appropriate for Halloween. Don't, these morons that say, oh, it's a Halloween cover. Or look, this is cool all year long, not just at Halloween time. So to me, this is an all-year cover. Halloween should never end. If Halloween is only in the month of October, then there's something wrong with you. You're watching the wrong network. All right, so I'm gonna guess this is from. I'm gonna guess 1964, and I'm gonna say. Oh man. March of 64. Let's see. And actually, you can tell, although you can't really read it, I can't read it too well. Magnifying glass. These Gold Key comics give it away. No, it says 605, so that's 1966. May of 66. Anyway, let's look at this book. I never knew anybody. Did you ever know anybody that actually sold seeds to win these prizes? And then they used to have ads where you could sell a newspaper called Grit. I've actually seen copies of Grit. One time, I don't know, was I at an antique store or something? Grit, actually, it was just this generic-looking newspaper that just... anyway... Let's take a look at what Uncle Scrooge is up to here in the House of Haunts. May of 66, number 63, Uncle Scrooge. Yeah. Now, see these gentlemen here? Look at their ears. These are beagles. They're called the Beagle Boys. How is it? Man, I don't know. I never thought they looked like beagles. Their ears just aren't right. I mean, Drew here is a beagle, and the beagles have floppy ears, Listen, next time old Zelensky comes and wants more of our tax dollars for the Ukraine, we're going to say, here, you can get these Polaris nuclear subs for $6.98, Mr. Zelensky. We'll give you $200 and you can get a whole bunch of nuclear subs. Leave us alone. I like this. Gold Key, the world famous comics. They're showing Gold Key has comics based on all these properties from Walt Disney, Hanna-Barbera, Marge's, what is that? Oh, MGM, CBS, Warner Brothers, Walter Lantz, 20th Century Fox, ABC, Edgar Rice Burroughs, NBC, and Universal. So they have all kinds. Look, they have the Munsters was going big then, Bonanza, Man from Uncle, Yeah, David McCallum passed away just a few weeks ago. He was Ilya Kuryakin. And, um, I grew up seeing the James Bond movies, but when growing up, I never saw The Man from Uncle. I knew about it from comics and from old. I mean, I knew The Man from Uncle was this cool show from the 60s, but it was never shown in syndication when I was growing up. I didn't see it until I was in college, and they started running it in the mid 1980s in the Dallas area. And my friend Tom and I, we were just like, oh man from Uncle's coming on. We watched it, and we enjoyed it, but we realized it wasn't. We were expecting something more because we'd heard about it all our lives, for 20 years. It was great, but I guess it's TV's answer to James Bond, but the thing that made it look a little not James Bond like is that it was all filmed on the back lot of the studio, and it was all the buildings were obviously, when they're on the street, they were all obviously fake buildings behind them, and it had a real James Bond, they went to all these exotic locales. And you say, well, it was television, they couldn't afford to go do that. But who did that was I Spy. I Spy would go and to all over the globe like it was shot like it was a theatrical film. But I love Man from Uncle. It just it doesn't have that big feeling that you would expect growing up watching the James Bond movies, and then you think, well, Man from anyway. I've got every episode of Man from Uncle in a little attaché case. I'm not knocking for Man from Uncle. I'm just saying it had anything is going to be a little disappointing if you wait for decades to see it. Okay, what the heck are we talking about here, man? Why didn't I just show you this book last time? Wild Western number 38, didn't I? And didn't we guess? I'm going to guess it's 1950. I'm going to guess it's September 1950. Kid Colt Outlaw. And the Ringo Kid. It's just, when I was a kid, they had Westerns on the comic rack, and I wasn't that interested in them then when I was a kid. I mean, I like Westerns on television, but the Western comics in the 70s that Marvel was putting out were reprints of the comics from this time period. Oh, look at this. I'm Uncle Harry. I will send you prizes like these. There was a great parody of this ad, and this makes me think this is actually older than what I just said. In the Color EC Mad comic that Harvey Kurtzman did, there was a parody of this ad, and they had this guy looking just horrible, like drooling and gritting his teeth. So I'm now thinking this book is older. I'm gonna go back and it doesn't have a comics code. What am I even thinking? So this is gonna be before late 54. So let me revise it and go back to I'm gonna say this comic is from April of 52, and that would be the tail end of the Truman Era. Yeah. Oh, wow, man, that's so great. Look at that. Look at that beautiful artwork and the white pages. I gotta look at this, man. Sid Shores is the artist. Fantastic. What did I say? April of 52? He's shooting 3 people at once. It's great. Look at that guy. I used to know a guy that looked just like that. Yeah, it's definitely early 50s. Look at that. Howdy Doody. Hey kids, send for the new Howdy Doody color television set, complete with 8 rolls of color film. They were still selling these kind of things when I was a kid in the early 70s. little plastic things with little rolls of, to make you think you have your own TV. Howdy Doody, what a great show. I've got boxes of DVDs of the Howdy Doody show. Of course, you can see that stuff on YouTube. Look at this. See this Vacutex? Captain Strangelove has one of those in the box. It's one thing just to have these old comics. It's another thing to actually have the stuff that's advertised in the comics. That makes you a big-time collector. I don't know if he has any of these bedwetting pills, stopping bedwetting pills. I kind of doubt it. Here's the Ringo. Look at this beautiful artwork. Look at that beautiful artwork with a girl in the background. Man, if they were reprinting the art from this time period in the early 70s, I would have been more interested in the Western comics. I think they're reprinting the art more from the later period of the 50s, which I will call the Eisenhower era, and this is still the Truman era. I will train you at home for good paid jobs in radio, television. So it's the early days of television. Okay, so I said, what did I say, April of 52? It might be 51. Anyway, I can't change my prediction. Let's see. November 54. Okay, November 54. Okay. The comics code came in at the very end of 54. I guess the code stamp didn't start getting put on the books until the very beginning of 55. So this is the very end, of the pre-code era. So a couple more issues, and this would have that stamp on them, on the comics. Man, things are going to be great over the next few years. Don't hate me if you don't. I mean, I don't know. You're going to hate me anyway. But I love Donald Trump, man. Not afraid to say it. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Looks like a Christmas issue of Uncle Scrooge. 12 cents. Now only 12 cents. Ooh, that tells me that they have just... Okay, that's weird. The comic books were 10 cents until the end of 61. And then they went up to 12 cents. But I think Gold Key was the only company that actually raised the price 5 cents to 15 cents. So I think they're realizing, oh shoot, we made a mistake. Everyone else, DC, Marvel, Harvey, everyone else Charlton is charging 12 cents. So it looks like they went back down, and now that's why they're saying now only 12 cents. Because it looks like that's a price reduction. So for that reason, I'm going to guess 63. It's a Christmas issue. So if your comic was going to be on sale in December, it's probably going to be dated February of 63. And that's because comics always have a date 2 months ahead so they can stay on the stands longer. But let's see. What did I say? February of 63. Am I correct? Okay. February of 63. Is it or is it not? January of 63. Wow, I'm only a month off. Yeah, this is a game I came up with. I don't know, has anyone else ever done this? As far as I know, I invented it, but maybe other people have done it. Oh, I love Magica Dispel. Look at that. She's the villainess of Uncle Scrooge. She's like a evil vampira duck. She started in the early 50s. She's like a witch. She started in the early 50s in Uncle Scrooge, which is the uh, same time that um, Vampira was on Los Angeles television, and she, even though she was only on Los Angeles local television, because Los Angeles is such a major market, she got coverage in Newsweek and Life magazine, so people all over knew about Vampira, even if they couldn't watch her show. There's no footage, really, virtually none footage left of Vampira doing her show. Just a few minutes of it in the opening, because it was on. It was just shot live. They didn't have videotape then, and there was no reason to videotape it. It was so. All right, so that's cool. What else we got here? Here's another two-gun kid. Also, okay, so what you do is you look for clues like a detective. It's 10 cents, so it's you know it's before 1961. It doesn't have a comics code stamp. Well, I was gonna try. Okay, I thought he was about to come out. Anyway, I'm guessing since it's from the same collection, um, I'm guessing it's early 50s. I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 53. This is Hold on a second. This is an early attempt to do the. It says conforms to the comics code. This is the early attempt to. They're basically trying to self-regulate, self-censor, so that the comics are appropriate for kids. Because things were pushed really far. They're starting in the late 40s and into the early 50s. And some of the comics, I mean, they pushed real far to the point where the violence and stuff was very R-rated, kind of R-rated, and some of the other elements were definitely in the PG-13 area. And so, there were a lot of outcry that comics were causing juvenile delinquency and all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, look at this woman. I voted for Joe Biden. He's such a wonderful man. Okay, on sale monthly, Two Gun Kid. Okay, I didn't make a guess. Edgar Casey. What year and month is this from? I'm gonna say August of 52. No, it's got the comics code thing, so they're already after all the controversy. Let's say August of 54. Let's try that. Ooh, nice artwork in here. August of 54. Come on, man. Come on. See, I'm not betting any money on it, so it's not like going to be a big deal or something. Come on, man. August of 54. Come on. It does say 54. We're March. No. September of 54. Oh, I was a month off. Yeah, it's September of 54. Look, 3D was a fad then. You can become an amazing new 3D He-Man. I guess 3D means that your muscles stick out, so you're actually in 3D. Look at this beautiful artwork. I remember I went to see the Cramps with my friend Randy years ago, and we were like right up against the stage, and he says it's like it's in 3D. It's like seeing Lux in 3D. The lead singer Lux in 3D, and I thought that was funny because obviously real life is in 3D. You know that the 3D craze just quietly died out. We didn't even notice it. I think it happened basically during the pandemic. The movies came back, and hey, they just there was no 3D glasses anymore. The movies weren't. You didn't have a choice to watch it in one theater in 3D and one theater not. It just they all forgot about it. So, but the first time it was a big deal was in the early 50s because movies were afraid of television. They thought people are going to stay home and watch their television. We have to offer them something, either a gigantically wide screen or 3D, and that was around for a little bit. Yeah, this they say that if you chew gum, that will help you reduce weight. How to fix any part of a car. Yeah, we just had the radiator replaced in the car and had an oil change yesterday. Oh man, oh man, oh man. What? I thought it was Harvey Kurtzman art for a moment. Because look at the way the sound effects are. Doesn't that look real Harvey Kurtzman like? It's great. Gain more weight. I should do ads like that. Like the Gratu Orloff weight gaining plan, and I can teach you all the secrets that I possess and how I gained weight. I can teach you how to no longer be skinny or athletic looking. I can teach you to be a fat schlub in 10 days. I can do it in less than 10 days. I can tell you all the restaurants to go to and what to drink. So you won't be a skinny scarecrow anymore. We don't want skinny on our team, they say. Oh, man. It's just so, fear no one, judo. That's so great. You know, you look at this. Remember in Planet of the Apes, Dr. Zaius, they were in that cave, and it was actually, you realize later in the movie that there where basically Manhattan used to be, because they go a little bit further down the beach, and Heston finds the wrecked Statue of Liberty with Nova. Do you know that Linda Harrison, who played Nova, was almost Wonder Woman back? They were William Dozier that did the Batman '66 show. Did Green Hornet, but he almost did Dick Tracy. He did a pilot, and he did a short pilot for Wonder Woman, but it was really bad. It was like really jokey and comedic, and it was like Wonder Woman lived with her. It didn't even make any sense. She was like ugly supposedly, but when she looked in the mirror, she thought she was beautiful. But she was Wonder Woman or something. It's stupid. I'm glad that was never made. Anyway, Dr. Zaius is in that cave, right? Charlton Heston finds the old glasses and a baby doll made like a human, and then it says "Mama," and then of course Dr. Zaius does not like the thought that man used to maybe talk, and I don't know, was it Zaius or was it Heston? I think it was Heston that was saying, looking at the site, well, these people that used to live here were very frail. They had weak eyesight. They was looking at what the artifacts they find. And you can look at these ads and you can kind of figure out what were the kids that read this comic like. Well, they had blackheads, and it's that Vacutex. They needed to pray, maybe to not be beaten up after school, maybe learn judo. If prayers don't work, then learn judo. Oh, you could get a live turtle in the mail, man. That would be good. Oh my gosh. What is that? The print's so small, man. I'm so bored I may do another show later today. But I'm definitely doing a live stream tomorrow at noon. You got to tune in. You got to come on the show because Mike from the Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills will be there. Anyway, incredible. Mona Lisa stamps. Always great. Beautiful artwork, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Learn jiu-jitsu, learn wrestling, learn to dance at home. Basically, they figure you're not very popular if you're reading these comics, but I don't know. Uh, Two Gun Kid, number 16. Wow. Key issue, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Donald Trump's going to be on. That last show got a copyright, not a strike. Strike is bad. It got a copyright claim, which means it's okay. The show's fine. It's not being taken down. It's just, I think it means you can't ever monetize it. Because I had a commercial played during in the background for band Roll On, and it was the band performing in this 60s commercial was this 60s band called H.P. Lovecraft. And apparently there's some copyright that exists in that commercial for band Roll On. Okay. Okay, all right. It's Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Gold Key had did the comic books of Star Trek from when Star Trek was actually on the air in NBC all the way through the 70s and until the Star Trek the motion picture came out in 79, I believe. So as far as guessing when this came out, it's 25 center. I'm guessing 1975. Let's say, I'm going to just say March of 75. And I can tell by look, and I'm not looking up here, but let's see, what does it say? Wow, I did guess it right, didn't I? 505, March of 75. This was a really fun comic. I always loved the Star Trek comic from Gold Key. I like the motion lines in space. I love it. Sometimes you see flames shooting out of the back of the engines of the Enterprise. Oh, look at this. Look at this Illuminati stuff. Can't wait to read this. Now, I very well could have bought this comic when it came out, except I never saw it on the stands. It was kind of hard in San Antonio. I didn't see the Star Trek comics that often because it was certain stores that had Gold Key comics, and stores I went to, they didn't have it. It was just hard to find these Star Trek comics for some reason, unless they were being bought up by Star Trek people before I could get to the newsstand. I don't know. Look at that, man. Look at this wonderful artwork. This one's not in fantastic shape, but it's perfectly great for me to read. This guy here, George Takei, Lieutenant Sulu, he does not like Donald Trump very much. Oh my gosh. Death of a Star. Okay, I hope that music playing in the background of this show is not going to get me. I better turn that down a bit, because that sometimes they'll play music before the speech. Come on, go down. Because YouTube is just getting ridiculous with the, you pick up some ambient sound in the background. Let's say you're filming at the state fair, you're walking around, and they're playing music, and then you can't put your video up. If it's the Beatles, they won't even let you put it up. If it's a major band, other ones they'll just flag it where you can't ever get it monetized or whatever. All right, we still have more books to go. So, so how are you guys doing on this wonderful Saturday? Yeah, what's going on with Israel? Did they declare war? I heard they were going to declare war at noon today, and I've been following what's going on. It's Mighty Mouse, ladies and gentlemen. I never see Mighty Mouse comics. Wanted boys and girls to get these swell prizes. Okay, it's a 10-cent book. No Comics Code Authority stamp. For some reason, I'm thinking 1951 on this. It's a little thicker, feels a little bit more Golden Age, or should I say? I'm saying it's. I'm not going to say Golden Age anymore. I'm going to say Truman Era. This doesn't feel Eisenhower era. It feels Truman era. A little thicker for the Truman comics. What did I say? 51? Could be 1950. When did Mighty Mouse cartoons start in the theaters? Okay, I'm going to say 51, and I'm going to say, what month have I not? Let's say October of 51. Let's find out. October 51. 5,000 missiles shot into Israel. I guess that would be a reason to go to war. I guess you can't blame them for that. October 51, March of 51. Okay, I'm just a few months off. Yeah, this feels a little bit older. It feels Truman-y and less Eisenhower-y. But it's thick. Oh, Gandy Goose, man. This makes me want to watch more old cartoons. There's tons of old cartoons you can watch on YouTube. Oh, they just released the entire collection of Flip the Frog cartoons on Blu-ray just a few days ago. Iworks, the real creator of Mickey Mouse. Flip the Frog cartoons are great. I have to figure out a way to get that. Yes, indeed. But Terry Toons, wonderful stuff. Yes, indeed. Oh, I mean, shoot, look at these wonderful ads in the back. Red Rider. You got Golden Texan. What does that say? Golden Texan holster set. There's a Dick Tracy camera. Cinderella wristwatch. Just like the wristwatch you saw Cinderella wearing in the film. There's a Roy Rogers wristwatch. Cowboy Jr. guitar. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, ensure the blessings of our liberty, for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this beautiful black cover. Black covers, are, as you know, are hard to, usually you're going to wind up with what they would call spine ticks, little annoying white little folds. Oh, now only 12 cents. Okay, that means they went up to 15 cents for about 5 seconds and went back down to 12 cents. The 63. November 63. Ooh, that's not a good time. November 63, that's the Kennedy assassination. But that's what Edgar Casey has told me with his psychic powers. That's all Edgar Casey has to do in heaven is just communicate comic book dates to me. Okay. Is it November of '63? Is it going to be a Kennedy era book? December '62. I'm off by a year and a month. It is definitely a Kennedy era book. You, if we could start a new trend, we could just start identifying comic books by who was president, and then we don't have to listen to all this golden age, silver age stuff anymore. I'm sick of that. Yeah, that's so old fashioned. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the book, not even showing it to you. What kind of? That's how uncouth of me. Teach them right from wrong. What? What a new concept. Get off TikTok, 100%. TikTok is really hurting kids, like big time. Okay, so wow, incredible. Donald loses his head trying to save his neck in Brain versus Brawn. I better hurry up because I'm not going to be able to show you all these wonderful comic books from this dump. I mean, this haul. I decided I'm going to call it these comic book dumps instead of hauls. So, but I'm starting a whole new terminology, like where you're going to have to learn a whole new lingo, like you're a beatnik or something to understand what's going on. Oh, let's get, we got. Remember, I was looking at Lois Lane comics recently. Um, Charlton 66 said I found some Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen books, or he said a couple of them that you didn't have from your video last week. So he's gonna send them to me. He's the nicest guy in the world. But I got this one for just a couple of bucks from Gotham City Comics, our official sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. The oldest comic store in Mesa, Arizona. It's where Carrie Lake shops. Someone wrote, what? It's number 45. Someone wrote number 78, which means that the kid was numbering the comics in their collection. So this is my 78th comic in my collection. So you think, well, that's terrible. The kid vandalized the comic. What that tells me about the comic, I kind of like that. It shows the personality behind whoever was the original owner of this book. They valued their comics, and this had a number in their collection. They were like it was like a budding librarian, and that means that they were wanting to make sure none of the comics disappeared from their collection. They're all numbered, so kudos to that person that wrote 78 on the cover. I'm not going to get mad at that kid. Man, look at this ad on the back. Look at that. But Lois Lane, is it perfect condition? It wouldn't be. Those morons on YouTube that like to get their comics in perfect 9.8 condition. Oh, well, this is beautiful. I mean, look at this the white pages. This is perfectly okay condition for me. I will take a good condition comic. It's intact. The staples are together. Mostly they're a little worn. I can read this comic without fear of it falling apart. It's not falling apart like leaves on a fall day. And, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I mean, seriously, if you can't look at these panels and see how beautiful that artwork is, wow. This is glorious. Oh, I'm guessing it's probably a 65 comic, 1965, LBJ era. I'll say February 65. Let's guess. Let's see. January 64. I was off by a year and a month. Look at that. Part of an imaginary series Lois Lane. Lois Lane's outlaw son. Yeah, I was off by a year. Yeah, it's a whole. The story's the. It's a book length story. And different chapters. Great artwork. Just beautiful. Look at that. I love these imaginary stories. You say, well, how is this an imaginary story? Aren't all the Superman stories imaginary stories? You just have to you have to kind of know it's an imaginary story. It's not an official, real Superman story. Don't you get it? It says, yes, Mother, I'm going to be the greatest scientific villain of all time. I'll succeed where Dad failed. I'll kill your old boyfriend, Superman. My dear departed husband, Lex Luthor, gave me the gift of eternal youth, but he also gave me an evil son, Black Luthor. Featuring an amazing imaginary novel, Lois Lane's Outlaw Son, where she married Lex Luthor and had an evil son. My gosh, And comic book collectors aren't interested in buying the Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen books, so you can get them for $2-3, man. It's just a comic book older than I am, and that's pretty old. Congratulations, comic book community, for only being interested in Deadpool and moronic stuff like that, because you're allowing me to get these wonderful comic books for a cheap price. All right, well, this came out last week. It is Detective Comics, number 140. Now, obviously, it's you say, how did that come out last week? Well, that's because it's a facsimile, a fake comic. That's the new thing, which I think is great. I would not buy any new comics. I have no interest in them, but I am interested in these reprints of old comics, because this is the first appearance of the Riddler. All those wonderful appearances of Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. Well, this is the comic where it all started, where he first appeared, and this is obviously a 1940s book, but it's from obviously what month in 19? It's from 48. It doesn't tell me the. It says December of 2023, but it's from 1948. So comic books are still the same way as they've always been. So it's October, and this book comes out, but it's dated December of 2023. They're always dated 2 months in advance. But anyway, you open it up. It's a lot glossier, probably, than a Golden Age comic would have been. I'm sorry, a 48, that would have been a Truman Era comic. But it reprints the whole issue, which has never been done. It has the ad on the inside cover for Kodak Film. It's got an ad on the back for R.C. Cola with William Bendix. That's the only modern thing on the cover. That they hide it on the back cover, which is smart. The Marvel on their facsimiles puts it on the front, and then that's the only thing that indicates, $4.99 instead of 10 cents. See, it's got all the old ads. It's man, this is a wonderful time period. I mean, and there are horrible things happening. Oh my gosh, look at this. This guy's dressed up as a dog. Look at him there. There are some good things about living in 2023, and one of them is having the ability to get these facsimile comics. Why didn't they start doing this earlier? Why couldn't they have done it when I was a kid? Made facsimile comics, because this with all the original ads. See, there we go. Yeah, the Riddler. Wow. Frank Gorshin was incredible as the Riddler. Julie Newmar, spot on as Catwoman. The Burgess Meredith, the Penguin, perfect. Cesar Romero's. I mean, it was all the casting in that '66 television show was great. Um, I mean, it really was. If you think about it. Um, the, I always thought, as when I was a kid, I thought, if Jack Nicholson had been in 1966 had been the Joker, that would have been great. Although I thought Cesar Romero did a great job. And then I was thinking this in the 1970s. And then what actually happened later in 1989? Jack Nicholson wound up playing the Joker. But imagine a young Jack Nicholson in 1966 being the Joker. That would have been unbelievable. Um, there were two animated Batman movies that came out based on the '66 series from just a few years ago. I don't think I think they were in the last 10 years. Just and one of them was like not too long before Adam West passed away, and it had all the original people did the voices of the characters, and it was animated to look like the TV series. And they were released on DVD, Blu-ray, but they made one where Two-Face is the villain, and William Shatner does the voice, and they basically made it as if William Shatner in the '60s had been cast as Two-Face, which would have been great because William Shatner is a wonderful kind of that type of actor is perfect for Batman. Just that kind of the way the way he performs. But anyway, that's great. He does the voice of Two-Face, and it's almost like a what if William Shatner had been in Batman. Anyway, here is another facsimile from a couple of weeks ago. They're cranking these out like almost every week or every other week. There's another facsimile of an old comic. This one is being reprinted because it's the first appearance of the Penguin. So this is that other one was Detective 140. This is Detective 58. So and that one was 1948. So I'm going to say this one. I'm going to guess that this is Roosevelt era, and this is 1944, and I'm going to say October 44. And I am just guessing, just based on the numbering. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. 41, earlier than I thought, but it's definitely Roosevelt era. Start doing that on your channels, guys. Let's all start using presidents, and let's start using dump instead of Hall, and we're going to come up with our own little code language that only we understand. Us in the Gratu Army. Look at this ad for the Superman crypto ray gun. But see, this is a reprint of 1941 issue. So this is right before World War II started, because if it's 1941, I mean, Civil War, World War II broke out. We were bombed December 7th, at the very end of '41, and so the war was declared basically the next day. And then by the time we got in to the war, it was already January of '42. Look at this, man. Who is that character, man? This that character's cool looking. Um, I would have thought that was like another company that. Man, I don't know that character. I love it. Yeah, the Dion quintuplets were huge celebrities. There's this woman that had 5 babies, and they're basically celebrities all through their childhood. You know, they would sell products like your Baby Ruth. But when they were babies, they put them out in the front yard with a fence around it, and they would charge admission to come see the Dion quintuplets playing. There was a documentary I saw once about this years ago about the Dion quintuplets, and I had no idea. Of course, my mom said, "Oh yes, of course, they were a big deal when I was a little girl." Um, Whatever. A lot of ads for fireworks here. So I'm guessing this was an issue out around July 4th because I'm not used to seeing fireworks ads in comics. What causes epilepsy? That's interesting. How about that? You know, a long time ago, a million years BC, the best things in life were absolutely free, but no one appreciated a sky that was always blue, and no one congratulated a moon that was always new. So it was planned that they must vanish now and then, and you must pay before you get them back again. And that's what storms were made for, you know. So you shouldn't be afraid when it rains. For every time it rains pennies from heaven. Don't you know each storm contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. What the heck? Saved by the Bell? There was a Saved by the Bell comic book? What? That looks like a cover from Bunny. Remember Bunny? I don't know. Harvey Comics. Well, this is a weird deal. For a little bit, Harvey had the Hanna-Barbera rights to do the Flintstones. It was a very brief time. Hanna-Barbera, I showed you some last episode. They did the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I'm sorry, Gold Key. I guess Dell and then Gold Key had the Hanna-Barbera rights until the very end of the 1960s, and then Charlton got the rights, which was weird. Why I don't know why Hanna-Barbera took the rights from Gold Key and gave them to Charlton, because Charlton's not going to deliver quite as slick a package. Let's face it. As much as I love Charlton, the paper's gonna feel like recycled paper, and the artwork's not gonna be quite as good. And so Charlton had the rights through at least the beginning of the 70s, and then I don't know what happened then after that. I think maybe Gold Key got the rights back again. But at this point, when is this from, man? Well, it's a giant 68 pages, and it's $2.25. It's got this. I'm thinking this is 1990s. Let's say 1992, February. Let's see. 1992, October. Got the right year. I don't know. 90s, Harvey was floundering. I mean, Harvey was a wonderful company with all these wonderfully. Just they just I don't know if they just got a bunch of artists and they just chained them to the table and had them draw, because it seemed like Harvey put out 40 comics every month, and they Casper, Hot Stuff, Richie. There were so many Richie Rich comics, so many Hot Stuff comics, and Wendy, and Nightmare, the Horse. It was so wonderful. The art was so wonderful, and that's how I just loved those books. And by the 90s, everything was dying in the comic industry. All the stuff I loved was going away. But I guess they, for a brief while, had the rights to. Marvel had the Hanna-Barbera rights for a little bit. Was that in the 80s? I think so. I think Marvel must have gotten the rights to Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And then yes. Okay, yeah. And then I think Harvey just had it briefly. And then a few years ago, maybe it's about 10 years ago, DC got the Hanna-Barbera rights, but they decided to go off in this weird self-aware modern take where Wacky Races was like Mad Max and gritty, and Scooby-Doo is a weird take on Scooby-Doo. The artwork in this is very different. It's kind of different from what you would have seen in the Gold Key. Barney Rubble looks a little strange there. I mean, I like the art. It's cool. This is from when they got a Simpsons video game advertised in the back. Basically, if you want to know when comic books started to slide, you can kind of tell by the ads for video games contained in the books. Because when video games became available in your house and you didn't just have to go out to an arcade and put a quarter in them, that's when comic book sales started to slide. Let me take these books upstairs. Okay, it looks like we've got about much time before Trump talks. Looks like about 20 minutes until Trump talks. By the time you watch this video, he'll either be in the middle of talking, or you really need to go to Right Side Broadcasting and you could just rewind and watch the Trump speech. And then he's going somewhere else in Iowa. He's going to talk twice today, and then Trump's going to talk, I think, Monday somewhere, New Hampshire or something. And then Carrie Lake's making some important announcement on Monday, and I'm wondering if that will be that she's going to be Trump's vice presidential candidate. And then David Wilcock may do a live stream tomorrow. David Wilcock's an interesting guy. I enjoy listening to him talk. Here's Drew the dog here. How you doing, Drew the dog? Say hello. Yeah, that's one thing the media does. He's making a good point. Whenever they talk about Trump, they say former President Trump. But every other president forever has always been president for their whole lives. They don't call him ex-president. They just always have to make little digs. Oh well. If Trump doesn't get reelected, then we're pretty much doomed. But I have confidence that things get. Oh, and another thing, RFK Jr. is going to talk at CPAC, which is a conservative Republican kind of thing. So basically, the Democrats have gone so woke socialist that the old style Democrats are having to move into the conservative arena. Okay, so we're back in the... Ooh. I don't need this ceiling fan anymore. I'm going to turn the ceiling fan... It's getting cold here in Rural Retreat. So the ceiling fan gets... The ceiling fan's being shut off because it is now fall, ladies and gentlemen. And okay, so why am I here? We need more light, don't we? I need to start. I'm gonna get on and I'm turning on my laptop here because I want to start um, putting up the invitation to the live stream I'm doing tomorrow. So let me get some lights on in here. Yeah, that live stream is going to be important. We're going to have Mike, the Crypt Keeper of Castle Hills, one of the great classic comic book YouTubers. He's been doing. He's had a channel for years. He got his channel taken down. A lot of people upset about that. A lot of people a lot more upset than he is himself. But and like I'm upset because he had all these shows that I hadn't yet had a chance to watch. I just figured, well, it's always going to be there. And sometimes, you take things for granted and then they disappear. So, okay, hold on a second. My wife's calling. I need to go see what she needs. I'll be back. I did this last episode. I left you guys hanging. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we need to go get my wife a pair of socks. Because she's cold and can't find a pair of socks. And she's not in a position where she can go looking for them. So I'm going to head on over and get some socks. So, okay, so what do I need to do here? First of all, I think we're going to need to start turning the heater on. So let's see here. Okay. Whoop. hear the heater starting to come on. That's a good sign. It's the first time I've turned the heater on this season. It's a very real news day right here in Waterloo. So thanks for watching here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Please send that link to everybody you can. And also support these great patriots and news. Okay, Trump expected to speak at 3 o'clock p.m., which is 2 o'clock my time, and it says it's a little bit after 2. Okay, so this is probably effectively the end of this episode, so I'll see you guys later, but I'll keep filming until I run out of memory on the phone, just in case you guys are bored or lonely. You can come along with me on the voyage to the Dollar General. Maybe I should call this episode Voyage to the Dollar General. Voyage to the bottom of the Dollar General. That would be a good one. What temperature is it here in Rural Retreat, Virginia? It is, it's exactly 65 degrees outside. It's pretty nice out here, actually. So, let's see how long it takes to get to the Dollar General. I've been the Dollar General, man. You've heard of 4-star generals, but this is the Dollar General. Let's see what's on the radio. Oh my gosh.
Mainly sunny skies and calm Monday with highs around 62. 69 Tuesday. I'm weatherology meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on KMA. Currently, it's 58.
The Jim Bohannon Talk Show, weeknights from 9 to midnight on KMA 960 and KMA FM 99.1.
Ron and Annie, I hate changing parts without testing. Now, obviously, it's a waste of money and time, but the big factor is when you change something, you find out you put a secondary problem into the vehicle simply by changing a part that, well, I'll try this.
The only reason I would have played the Beach Boys, I love Help Me Rhonda, but you know it'll get me a copyright problem. So don't think I'm a Philistine turning the channel. Oh, yeah, I would play that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we've arrived here at the beautiful Dollar General. Yes, indeed. Whoa. Okay, we got some big trucks coming, man. Okay. Yes, indeed. My goodness gracious me. Ah, crap. This sucks, man. Excuse my language. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And here we are at the Dollar General. It's so incredible here. Okay. I'll have you wait in the car. I'll be right back. You still there, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry. I got distracted. They have a Mad Magazine golden, garbage issue in there. Look at this. Look at my haul, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a dollar spider, the suction cup, and I got $3.50. Hopefully these socks will. She wanted black. I don't think they had any black socks. Not that I could find. So we're ready to skedaddle. It's the Dollar General, ladies and gentlemen. It's the happening spot. All the cool people are here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Put on my seatbelt. I want to be a good role model for you guys out there in the comic book neighborhood community, whatever you call it.
You can be like... Visit as your flu shot if you're due for both.
Oh, yeah, flu shot.
Learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov.
Vaccines.gov, yeah.
Exogen thermometers are the smart choice when selecting a thermometer. With children back at school, keeping them healthy is important. Got a fever? Stay home. To detect fever accurately at home, you need a clinical, fast, and non-invasive thermometer. The Exogen thermometer is backed by over 100 clinical studies. Accuracy matters. Be smart and safe. Measure accurately with Exogen thermometers available at
Here's
Walmart
the subway,
and
ladies and
participating
gentlemen.
retailers. Learn more
All the
at
fine
exogen.com.
cuisine is here in Roll Retreat.
KWMT weatherology forecast. Partly cloudy this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 58. West winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, lows around 38. Sunny skies and calm tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 65.
Let's turn here,
High
ladies and gentlemen.
57 Monday under mainly sunny skies. 62 Tuesday. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently it's 56.
Iowa's Weather Authority, AM 540.
We can pick up radio stations all the way from Iowa here in Virginia because of a space and time vortex. Ooh, that might have copyright in this music. Look, there's the garage. There's the movie theater that plays all the finest films. Like, right now they're playing Paw Patrol for the second week. Paw Patrol. There's the bowling alley. Monument. The barbecue restaurant that we love. Yes, indeed. Well, we're still going. Maybe we can look at some more comic books. Yes, indeed.
That would make it work for you. I'm Ron Ananian, the car doctor. I'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
Okay. I'm excited about my new spider.